isn't he, or is he going to be something special inside of the NFL, or is he just a little bit undersized? You see so many conflicting reports out there about the Pittsburgh Steelers rookie, Roman Wilson. Welcome back to Mike Drop Sports, everybody. I'm Jason. Let's dive in here on a Wednesday, talking a little bit about what the Pittsburgh Steelers may be or may not be expecting to come out of this wide receiver room, and specifically that rookie, Roman Wilson. You see so many different articles, so many different people in the media out there talking about Roman Wilson. Some say maybe he's undersized. Some say that he has the potential to be something outstanding, that he has the potential to have an amazing rookie year. But what is it? Yes, there are so many people there with feet on the ground, but you're seeing so many conflicting reports about this guy that maybe you get nervous. Or maybe you read another article, or maybe you read something else or see something else in an interview that says, man, you're excited for what he could possibly do. You see that he's possibly out there competing with a guy like a Van Jefferson for the number 2 role, or possibly is he going to dive down to the number 3? Where does that fit Calvin Austin and the rest of this wide receiver room? But there's so many conflicting reports, and it brings me back to some of the things that I had talked about in the live shows earlier in the week, talking about, hey, it's really hard to evaluate these guys until you can see the physicality, until you can see the pads on. And it makes you just really wonder what we're really evaluating here, what we're looking at when we're talking about, especially a rookie like a Roman Wilson that's about 180 pounds, that's about 6 foot tall. You're looking at Roman Wilson and you say to yourself, man, he probably needs to pack on a few pounds. I don't think he could play at the NFL level in an Arthur Smith style offense at 180 pounds. But you look at Calvin Austin and you say to yourself, he's really small too. How would he be able to perform in an Arthur Smith, more physical style offense? When you get past George Pickens, you really start to get concerned about the Pittsburgh Steelers at the wide receiver room, or at the wide receiver position as a whole. You look at George Pickens, you look at a guy like Van Jefferson that has potential but hasn't succeeded in the last couple seasons. But you look at that and you say to yourselves, well, maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers can start to piece together a wide receiver room that could be functionable, that could have several different guys that have that different skill set that are going to be able to, allow the Steelers offense to mix things up. You look at the tight end room, you look at the possibility of Pat Freiermuth playing in the slot a little bit more in that big slot type role. But you look at Roman Wilson again, guys, and you see a ton of reports out there that say that maybe he's not going to be able to do it in year one, that he's going to need to work with the strength and conditioning coach, come in there, pow on a few pounds. Before he starts to really be successful. Does he have enough time here throughout the summer to be able to do something like that, to where he can pack on, 10 pounds of muscle by the time the season rolls around, getting him to roughly the 190 area, a little bit over? You look at other receivers across the league, they've been able to succeed, some of them at the same, relative physical frame. But you ask yourself, what is everybody looking at? When you're looking at football in shorts and a helmet, you wonder what is going on there, what you're looking at right now. How do you know this guy isn't going to be physical enough? How do we know Calvin Austin isn't going to be physical enough? We get to see Calvin last year in a little bit of a smaller role. He had some moments to where he shined. I felt like he took advantage of some of those moments, coming up big with a touchdown in the Raiders game on a deep pass. But the one that I really liked the most was the Buffalo Bills game in the playoffs, where he was able to go underneath inside of the red zone and be able to be effective and score. So does Roman Wilson. Is he going to be able to provide that same type of firepower? Is he going to be able to do those same type of things, but at a more elite level, a level that you had hoped that when you drafted him that you're going to be able to get out of him? Yes, college is far different than in being in the NFL, guys. You look at how Arthur Smith is going to want to play this offense. You're going to see a guy like Roman Wilson, especially if you're playing in that number 2 role, be required to get downfield, make blocks, really be physical off the line of scrimmage, and you look at the NFL game as a whole, also, some of these bigger corners, some of these cornerbacks play a really aggressive style, a real aggressive off the line type style. And will that disrupt this offense with guys like Roman Wilson, Calvin Austin, players of that nature that are trying to get free, trying to get that first step? Is their first step quick enough? You know, those are the things you're going to be looking for. Are they playing super high like you saw Roman Wilson maybe a little bit here in this offseason doing? But I think, again, guys, it all boils down to are the Pittsburgh Steelers going to be able to get out of Roman Wilson what they're hoping for, considering it is a ton of unknowns across this wide receiver room? George Pickens, we've saw him succeed, but he is the only somewhat known commodity. He is yet to have a breakout season to where you're absolutely wowed by his numbers, but there's been several variables at play here. But now with the quarterback play of Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, I think that you are going to have to rely on guys further down the depth chart at the wide receiver spot, because I think teams will be focused on George Pickens. And I think that if you are these other two quarterbacks, you have to be able to look and rely on other targets. You're going to need a little bit of a mix there. You're going to need somebody with a bigger body frame, i.e. maybe a Van Jefferson, somebody that's a little bit bigger. You look and see what people have said about Quez Watkins adding some pounds here, but I think he has some issues that he really has to fix here in terms of his physicality and things of that nature, which concern me in an Arthur Smith offense also. And that was just last year. The way he attacks the ball, that may be fixed now. Again, guys, we have to see how this summer unfolds and how this all starts to move forward. And when the pads come on, you're going to start to see these battles. And I don't want you to get wrapped up into the hype right now. The Roman Wilson hype train is what this video really is truly about. I don't want you to get wrapped up into whether right now, whenever you've yet to really get to see him being attacked by a corner. You've yet to see him be able to use his speed to get that quick first step to beat that physical attack of a corner. You've got to see those things in action. You've got to see those throughout the course of a week or so of practice sessions, to where you're going to be able to notice, hey, is he able to get free, get loose, to where the quarterbacks have the ability to make a quick decision. And when you're looking at that and you're looking at Roman Wilson and you say to yourself, is he going to be able to battle inside of the middle? I think that there are still high hopes regardless of the body size, because he says that he loves to play that physical style football. He wants to be in a Steelers type brand of football right now, that physical nature, that hard hitting, that come downfield and get you type offense, one that is not going to be just super, passing around everywhere, air raid type offense. They're not going to be like that. They're going to be a more solid, heavy personnel type offense, and Roman Wilson really wants to play in that, and he's excited for it. He's said as much, not Jason. I didn't tell you that. Roman said it. So again, guys, don't get wrapped up in this hype train. Don't fall victim to believing one way or another, because we just truly don't know just yet. I know there's lots of reports out there, and I respect all the reports out there, because it's just somebody's opinion. They're watching, they're there, they're seeing what's going on, and they're translating that into word or video in order to portray it to you, because you're not getting to see these practices. So you have to applaud the people that are trying to deliver the information, but we have to see it in live reps, guys. So don't fall victim to it. Don't believe half of the hype train. Let's just see what Roman Wilson is going to be able to do once there is real contact made and there's real significant battles going on out on those fields, especially in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. That's where you're really going to see some of these guys start to transcend, start to really make a name for themselves, and you're going to start to see the bigger stories start to come out about these players in this wide receiver room. Omar Khan has yet to make a move to maybe bonify and solidify that number 2 role. However, I think there is still time for that, but I think Omar Khan is willing to wait it out, wait this market out and see how everything goes, and see maybe if a team requires another need at a different position that is truly significant, that maybe they dangle one of their premier guys out there. If they have a couple big name targets at wide receiver, maybe they dangle somebody out there as trade bait to be able to fill a critical error. No, excuse me, a critical place to where they're going to need, a fill in. So yes, the things could change, guys, and things could rapidly start to look a lot different. Especially, Roman could fail, could not be able to be as physical as the Arthur Smith offense requires, or he could come out there and shock you and be putting up jaw-dropping numbers. You never know what's going to happen, but until you see this thing and start to see it in live reps and start to see this thing come together as a real whole, it's going to be hard to tell. And I think Omar Khan does have a plan, but that plan is not going to be one that is just, haphazardly thrown out there. I think Omar Khan's waiting for the right situation, and we'll see how that all continues to unfold as we move through the off season, as we continue to march toward that time to where the Steelers are going to be spending it in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, for what is, I think, one of the most special training camps in all of the NFL. All right, guys, let's wrap this up. Until tonight for Steel City Live, our daily live stream at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm Jason. This is Mike Drop Sports. Peace.